Welcome to This Week in Tiger Athletics. I'm your host, Haley White, and joining me now is FHSU wrestler Efe Osagai, a 157-pound sophomore. Efe was named the most outstanding wrestler at the Kansas Cup in Hays on Sunday. He sits at the number 4 spot in the Division II at 157 pounds. He went 31-14 last year as a redshirt freshman, wrestling at 157 and 149 pounds. Efe was MIAA Conference Tourney champ last year and runner-up at the West Super Regional. He was named the West Super Regional Freshman of the Year last season. He finished 8th at the NCAA Division II National Championships to earn All-American honors last year. Congratulations on another solid weekend on the mat. How nice was it to be wrestling at home in front of a familiar crowd?
Honestly, it felt really good to have the crowd on our side. The ref also felt good to have our redshirt freshmen, the guys that are redshirting this year. They normally don't get to see us wrestle and see the competition we get to go against. So when we wrestle at home, they get to watch and see what they're going against next year or the future year or whenever they decide to start. So it felt good to be at home for sure.
And you went 2-0 during the Kansas Cup while wrestling up a weight class at 165 pounds and earned the most outstanding wrestler honors for the tourney. What does that honor mean to you as only a sophomore?
Honestly, I don't try to let the little accomplishment play a role in my wrestling career right now. I have a big goal, and that's nationals. That's what I'm focused on. But I'm humble and I'm grateful for the honor. It just motivates me to keep working harder. I bumped up a weight class at 65, and I wrestled another tough kid in the finals. I was also ranked at the upper weight, so it felt good to get a win at that weight.
Was there any extra challenges wrestling up a weight class?
There was challenges like going through my head about, obviously when you bump up a weight class, you tell yourself the guys are bigger than you and stronger, but you just have to tune all that out and go perform. At the end of the day, it's you versus him.
The team was able to take home the team title as well as the Kansas Cup. How nice is that to earn that and be considered the best wrestling team in the state?
Honestly, it feels good and it's motivating, Winning this accomplishment just motivates the whole team to keep working harder. It starts little, being the best team in Kansas, then best team in conference, regionals, and then we can compete for being one of the best in nationals. So it's a step along the way, so I'm excited for this.
You had an outstanding redshirt freshman year last year, and you finished with All-American honors at the national tourney. Did you expect to be able to jump into the D2 collegiate level and wrestle as well as you did?
Honestly, I was a little nervous coming to my redshirt freshman year, and I didn't expect to be as good as I was good. But everyone around me kept telling me, you're better than you think you are. You just have to perform and show it. First semester last year was honestly not the best for me, but as soon as the second semester came around, I picked it up and I really performed. I'm excited about that.
And how did your experience on the mat last year prepare you for this season?
Well, last year it just showed me how hard I have to work to match up or be better than my competition. So experiences, it also means a lot, so I'm excited.
You now have 23 wins, already heading into the bulk of the dual season. How have the tournaments early in the season helped you prepare and the team prepare for that dual portion of the schedule?
Well, tournaments, in my opinion, are probably the most important to me on the wrestling season, because that's where you make accomplishments, that's where you reach your goals, and in tournaments, that's where you see more nationally ranked wrestlers and get to test yourself and see where you're really at in the season. So I'm excited for all the tournaments I've wrestled in and how I've competed.
The team went 1-2 at the national duels a few weeks ago against some really tough competition. What did you take away from that?
Well, this is our first time going to national duels in a couple of years, and they normally only pick the best teams to be at national duels. So that also says a lot to us. We keep improving if we keep going to national duels and competing. We also got to see some of the best teams in the country that we'll probably see at regionals and at nationals, and we got to wrestle some of them and see where we need to improve and what we need to work on.
After what you accomplished last year as a freshman, do you feel there's a target on your back this season a little bit?
Yeah, honestly, I feel like there's a target on my back, because when you have a really good season, everyone expects you to have a really better season than the following year. So, but I really don't let that get to me. I just go out there and just perform and do my best. That's what matters.
What were some of your personal goals heading into this season?
Well, my personal goals was obviously to win regionals, because I haven't done that yet, and also make it to nationals again. And obviously All-American, but the main goal in my mind is winning nationals. And then also have some team goals like winning conference as a team and then placing top 5 as a team in the country.
You beat the #1 ranked wrestler at 149 pounds 3 times last year. Explain that experience a little bit.
Honestly, I think that was the turning point of my season last year. I wasn't having the best season up until that match, and before the match, like days leading up to the match, coach just came up to me and told me, hey, just go out there and have fun no matter what. I'm always on your side, and that just really motivated me. And when I beat him, I just felt motivated, and I just felt like I was unstoppable. So.
Some people might not know that you're also part of the men's soccer team at FHSU. Yeah. Is your true love wrestling or soccer?
Honestly, I love both of them. That's why I continue to do both. They have done challenges, but I love both teams.
How do you go about juggling multiple sports at a time, especially at the D2 collegiate level?
It's tough, but I have really great coaches that allow me to do both because they know my passion for both of them, and my teammates in both sports actually are really supportive in both sports that I play, so I couldn't do it without them for sure.
How did FHSU become an option for you while you were wrestling in high school in St. Louis?
Honestly, both coaches, my wrestling coach reached out to me late in my senior year actually. He didn't really contact me until I think March or February of my senior year, and I just decided to come out for a visit, and I ended up liking it and decided to come here, so it's been a good fit so far though.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today. When we return, we will break down the rest of This Week in Athletics.
He often climbs to the 3rd floor of Rarick without taking a second breath. No matter when he submits his assignment to Blackboard, it is considered early, even if it is 5 days late. The line at Starbucks parts when he arrives. He considers the homecoming bonfire a small flame for s'mores. Every time he walks downtown, it's considered a march to Maine. His doodles on scrap paper are framed and hung in Rarick Hall. Once he parked in a 30-minute zone overnight, and the campus police left him a thank you note and a gift card.
I don't always party, but when I do, I register with SGA. Now party responsibly, my friends.
This is your chance. All right, this is your chance. We're defending the title, right? Yep. Sir, who's going to take it first? No. Nobody starts here.
Rising up, back on the street. Did my time, took my chances. Well, the distance, now I'm back on my feet. Just a man and his will to survive.
Fort Hays State challenged me and supported me, showing me over and over again the power of hard work and commitment, the value in personal investment, the importance of true community, and the transformative change that happens through innovation.
So many times it happens too fast. You trade your passion
child? What's the best gift you can give your child? And that's a formal education. And I tell them, yes, we have great universities throughout this state of Kansas, but Fort Hays, it's personable, you're going to love it, and your child will thank you for it.
Our history has built us, but our story is still being written.
Welcome back to This Week in Tiger Athletics. Joining me now is FHSU SID Ryan Prickett, and he's going to help me break down the rest of This Week in Athletics. So I just got done talking to FA, and he has a matchup this week. The Tigers are back in action Thursday when they host the Colorado School of Mines for a non-conference duel.
Yeah, wrestling back in action in dual action again this week. Nice little win for them at the Kansas Cup there this last weekend in tournament format. But yeah, back to the dual segment, and they hopefully have a good shot at getting back on track. They've taken a few losses in dual action, but all their losses have pretty much been to ranked teams. So and we lost to Central Oklahoma earlier in the year when they weren't ranked, which I was scratching my head on why that team wasn't ranked to start with, but they have a lot of young guys. But Central Oklahoma is now in the rankings too, so it's a grind of a season and dual season. I don't know if there's a lot that really matters with that until we get to MIAA and NCAA regional action, because that's when you make your noise and how many guys are going to qualify for nationals and can you make a run at things as a team at nationals. But yes, dual action, we still got some duels to wrestle here down the stretch over the next few weeks, and just nice to see the guys at home again and a good chance to come out and support Tiger Wrestling, and hopefully they'll get a win this week against Colorado Mines.
And to move on to FHSU basketball, the men survived the battle against Northeastern State with its efforts in the final minute of the contest that put the Tigers over the Riverhawks 69-65 on Thursday.
Yeah, that was a big win to make sure that we kept up there in that upper echelon of the standings right now. Now I think we're down to just one team left on the men's side that's undefeated, which is Northwest Missouri. They had played Washburn back on Saturday this last weekend to the battle of the unbeatens that were remaining. So sitting at 5-1 right now, we're basically tied for second in the conference with Pittsburgh State. And that's a great start for our men. Yeah, the 69-65 win against Northeastern State. Marcus Cooper had a big weekend for us. He was really the sole reason why we won that game.
Mm-hmm.
We were down 3 going into the final minute. He helps the team go on an 8-1 run. All the 8 points that were scored in that run were by Marcus. I think he also had a key steal in that sequence to get us the ball, to put us in favor of, expanding our lead, and then a big key rebound there towards the end of the game too. So a big play from him this weekend, obviously in that game, and then also in a win against Central Oklahoma on Saturday. So.
The women used a 12-0 run against Northeastern State on Thursday to eventually skate past the Riverhawks 88-50.
Yeah, huge win for them there. Northeastern State, obviously, one of the teams struggling right now in MIAA play. We did get out to a little bit of a sluggish start in that game, but then we caught fire there in the third quarter and fourth quarter and really extended that lead and put them away like we kind of figured that we would. So that was a key win for them there. And then obviously, that big game on Saturday against Central Oklahoma, we knew that, them coming in, you couldn't sleep on them. Got out to a big lead on them there, and then all of a sudden it kind of started to dwindle back, and you're like, okay, well, Central Oklahoma's making a push at us. But once again, I don't know what it is about the third quarter this year, but I think you talked about it a week prior to Tony, and I think I don't even think he realized how wide that stat was. But that third quarter right now, we've just been dominating opponents, and once again, went into the locker room. I think the lead was only about 9 or something like that at the break, and once again we put our foot down on an opponent and put them away and won by 20. So. Another big week for the women, stay undefeated, and we are the only remaining unbeaten team in the region right now, so we know that could mean some big things down the road. So.
And they're really showing their efforts on both sides of the court. They shot 29 and made 29 of their 56 shots, which is nearly 52%.
Yeah.
Of the shots they took, and they forced 23 turnovers, with 17 of those being steals on Saturday.
Exactly. That formula, like we were talking there a week ago, where we're one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the country, and we're also really good at securing the ball, not turning the ball over. We're one of the best teams in the nation at that. And then on top of that, forcing teams to more than 20 turnovers per game on average. It's a big recipe for the success that we've had this year. And if we can continue to do that to opponents throughout the season, I really think we're going to be in the mix for big things at the end of the year.
And Fort Hays basketball will hit the road to compete in 2 in-state rival matchups this week, with Emporia State first and then Washburn following.
Yes, rivalry week, as we might want to call it, but this time it's on the road, and if there's as difficult of a road swing in the MIAA for us, this is it, because traditionally those teams have played really, really well on their home floor. More so on the women's side right now, seeing where the standings are. We know how good Emporia has been for years on the women's side, and it's weird to look at them in the conference standings and see 3 losses on them already. But they're a good team still. They're going to be in the conversation for making some noise at the end of the year. I have a feeling. That's just the way they've been for years. So this is a huge game on Wednesday night for the women. Obviously, if we can get 2 head-to-head wins over Emporia State, who there in turn beat the likes of Southwest Oklahoma out of the Great American Conference, who only has 1 loss so far right now. And I think Southwestern Oklahoma will be in that conversation for one of the top teams in the region at the end of the year. So if we could get another big win over Emporia State on Wednesday, that would be huge. And then Lee Arena on Saturday, it's another place that we've struggled at times over the years with our women's program. Kind of got over the hump there a couple of years ago, but here just this last year, we went there and lost a game when we were up 13, 12 points, something like that in the third quarter, and they made a heck of a run at us and came back and won that game. So we know this is one of the toughest road trips in the conference on the women's side, so can't take anything for granted this week. We have got to play well if we're going to remain unbeaten for one, but stay up there at the top of the conference, because Lindenwood's got pressure on us right now. They haven't lost yet. And Washburn, even though they have, I think, 4 losses overall, that was all in non-conference play. They're undefeated in MIAA play too. So huge week as far as conference implications at the end of the year. And then on the men's side, obviously, we got a win over Emporia State earlier this year. This is the only time this year we're going to see Washburn. Washburn's one of the better programs right now. On the men's side, Emporia's kind of been mediocre this year. So we got to hope that, we can at least maybe go out and get at least 1 win this week. It'd be great if we could get both. If we could beat Washburn on its home floor, that would be a big feather in our cap towards the end of the season. So like I said, that grind of make sure you defend your home floor, which we've done on both sides of the coin. We're both undefeated at home on the women and men's side. But you got to try and get as many wins on the road as you can, and that seems to be the winning formula in the MIAA. You are going to take a few lumps here and there on the road, but if you can defend that home floor and only take a few lumps on the road, you'll be right there in the conversation for a conference title at the end of the year.
Well, thanks for joining me, Ryan. That concludes this episode. Tune in next week for another episode of This Week in Tiger Athletics. And as always, to stay up to date on the latest news and information throughout the week, visit tigermedianet.com.